And we're back with part 2 of Deathstrike versus Dr. Thrax in ZH Continue. So for this one, we're going to do a quick little compilation of like fail moments or strategies that I used in those failed attempts, which led us to the final attempt. So if you don't want to watch that, I've got the video chaptered out anyway, so just skip ahead to the final attempt. Otherwise, I'll break down my thought process behind some of the moves that I made in the failed attempts. So, starting off with, I was trying to go with a heavier defense. That's why I was like mixing in more tunnel networks and stinger sights along with Palace. Downside for this defense was it was too far forward, so I was attacking the toxin bunker, and as for the right side, I was going more for just stinger sights and tunnel networks. Eventually, I did go more like tunnel heavy on the right side in some of those attempts, but yeah, my right side defense still wasn't exactly holding up compared to what I had with the Palace and the tunnel networks. And also another thing, Baikonur launchers can come into play within the first few minutes. So if I do get that, I just insta restart the game. And on my last play session, I ended up getting 4 of those starts in a row, which was kind of annoying, but that's the way it goes. So with this, my defense was a lot stronger and it was further back, and I tried other strategies. I tried getting quad cannons into the game, and I tried going for the stinger sight that's on the right side of the bridge. And my strategy with that was I wanted to try and get Jarman Kell positioned where the stinger sight is, and then I was going to use him to snipe off the vehicles that cross the bridge. And as you saw just from that glimpse, I ended up sniping off a lot of vehicles, and it was enough, like it bought me enough time to actually launch a Scud Storm at his Toxin lab, which is going to be his version of a Palace. Excuse me. So his version of a Palace is interesting because he doesn't actually rebuild it. And that's something I found out from my research looking up other videos. It was confirmed by Veloxius that, yeah, he doesn't rebuild it. So that's why I was primarily going to go for Palace to take away his long-range units. Now, I tried to mix up the strategy a little bit more. I went for the oil refinery. I thought maybe Dr. Thrax had, you know, a limit to his cash pool, so I thought maybe if I take down the oil refinery and the oil derricks, I might be able to slow him down or stop him from building those long-range units to, you know, wipe out my base. And as you saw from that right side, going more tunnel heavy with the defense. Here, I was incorporating more balloons, so I was going more for a combination of balloons, Scud launcher, Palace defense, and I'm sort of being careful here with my balloon, trying to make him attack the Baikonur launcher or the chem buggies if they're nearby without getting the attention of the quad cannon. I did take some damage there, but had to be done because those Baikonur launchers are deadly. And there he goes. So Jarman Kell, I've got him into position, and the thing is, like, he's good at sniping the vehicles and causing those traffic jams, but I gotta be aware of those chem buggies. I have to like run away as soon as I get a shot off. Now, Scud launchers, in this attempt I was very heavy with Scud launchers, but that didn't work either because eventually Thrax could overwhelm me with Baikonur launchers, which have longer range, or he could use an Anthrax bomb, which would take down all of those Scud launchers. But yeah, I got hit from the right side with the Baikonurs, so yeah, there was no way I could really deal with that besides, you know, like sacking off a Scud launcher or two, which would, yeah, mean that the Baikonurs would hit it or the chem buggies would get to it. So here we got Jarman Kell once again. He's really doing his best to stay stealthy there, and I've been doing a lot better. I've been getting my Scud Storms up earlier, and I tried going for some defense on the left side as well, in case he pushes on my left side. Here, I was like, yeah, nah, I have to use a Scud Storm on the bridge because I'm getting overwhelmed. I lost my Palace. And that was what some of the attempts, you know, entailed, was me just constantly using defensive Scud Storms. I think I used a Scud Storm defensively like 4 times in one attempt, which led to Dr. Thrax eventually overwhelming me with another wave, because it's like, okay, well, he's just going to keep churning out those units. And I'm like desperate, getting all the sting sights out, balloons for defense, the toxins from the bridge are still, you know, they're taking care of the Baikonur, so that's something. But yeah, I could not figure out how to deal with Dr. Thrax in this battle. And eventually it did lead to me asking for help, which I'll get to later on in the video. But yeah, I was definitely running out of tricks. So in this attempt, I was actually starting to incorporate the second oil derrick. I never captured it in the other attempts because I knew that Thrax would start attacking from the left side and then pushing south, which would overwhelm my base. But if I just build a decent defense on that left side near my palace, then I could defend the base, but I would lose that position with the oil derrick. Or I could defend where the oil derrick is, which is why I've got one tunnel. Here, I ended up trying something different. I tried using the hijack plane general power to take out the arms dealer, which failed miserably. I thought if I could take that out, then I could prevent Dr. Thrax from using those long-range units on the right side, and then I only need to focus on defending from this position with the bridge. Now, I ended up losing my Scud launchers there, which was bad news, and so I had to bring out my Jarman to try and snipe off the Chem Buggy and the Baikonur launcher. I had done some work with Jarman. He did get a decent traffic jam done, and because he got too close, they did pop out, and I ended up going for Scud Storm again on the Toxin Lab. Thing is, in my attempts, I was using the Scud Storm, but I wasn't like directly firing at the palace. It's a little bit off center, and because it's off center, it's turning it into a GLA hull. It's not destroying it completely. I need to destroy it completely so then I can prevent Dr. Thrax from building any more of those Chem Buggies and Baikonur launchers for the rest of the battle. So that was another dilemma. Eventually I got to a point where I was like comboing the Scud launcher with the hijack plane power, so I was able to destroy it once. And here I ended up changing my tactics again. I ended up getting Jarman to collect the scraps on the ground to vet him up to vet 2, hoping that I could cause those traffic jams sooner and get him to snipe more consistently. Here we've got a bunch of quad cannons, and there's another traffic jam. I think I regret sniping that Chem Buggy because it caused the other Chem Buggies to fire at Jarman, but it then triggered them into moving. And the whole traffic jam strategy, it works, but it's not airtight. Some of those vehicles can still slip through and overwhelm me. And so yeah, that leads to me having to use Anthrax bombs and Scud Storms more defensively. And once again, Scud Storm. This time it was a bit better, and I just used the hijack plane power because I was like, okay, well, it's going to turn it into a GLA hull. I might as well use it, not knowing, you know, that I can actually destroy it outright if I just aim it more correctly. So we are able to completely destroy it this time. So I did turn it into a GLA hull, so I did make the right choice bringing in the hijack plane for this one. And so no more long-range units, but it's kind of too little too late because he's got so many Chem Buggies and Baikonur launchers already knocking on my door, and I did give up in this attempt. I probably gave up a little bit too soon. I might have been able to hold off the minute and a half, get that Scud Storm, use it defensively, and maybe if I ranked up to rank 5, I could use an Anthrax bomb for the other set of units, and I might have been able to hold on from there, but I didn't see it, so I ended up giving up a little bit early in this attempt.
General Momar Deathstrike versus Dr. Thrax.
Hey, you cannot defeat my toxins, General. Greetings, General. Do not think I cannot see your spies flying over my base. Please, look all you wish, because this may be the last time you ever see my stronghold. As you can see, my defenses are impenetrable, and my toxic weapon systems will poison your troops long before they can reach me.
Okay, and here we are. So this is my final attempt at trying to beat Dr. Thrax with Death Strike. My best attempt. And for this one, as you can see, I have actually gotten better with the hotkeys. So that's one of the benefits of all those failed attempts is I was able to try and learn how to play faster to get the buildings out quicker as well. Selling off the CC for the extra 1,000, of course, because I'm not going to need the CC until later on anyway, and I really need to establish a defense quickly too, so that extra 1,000 is going to come in handy. Now, with my workers, I've ended up going down a different path here. I'm going for one tunnel, not two, like in my other failed attempts. I would do 2 tunnels and then the palace would go in the middle, but not this time. Going completely different. Meanwhile, I got another worker on the way to the oil derrick, and this is where I ended up asking for help. So I ended up messaging Veloxius, and they ended up giving the mission a try, and they messaged me back, and something they said stuck out to me. They said CC on the left, and to me I was like, oh, he must have built a CC left of the oil derrick. So a meat shield command center is the hint, and that was actually the hint that I needed to really bolster my defense. And in this play session, it took me 8 attempts. 4 of those attempts were the Baikonur launcher at the very beginning. So yeah, I just insta restarted those ones. But yeah, I had 4 good runs using CC on the left. Meanwhile, with the palace, I've gone sideways. So this was another lesson that I did learn from Veloxius that I had to, you know, relearn. And that palaces normally fire better from the side rather than the front. So that's why I'm building the palace sideways. I'm still trying to incorporate some of the other strategies that I used in the failed attempts. So going for those quad cannons, and I was planning on using the quads to go after the Stinger site and go after the oil refinery, and then pairing it up with Jarm and Kel for sniping on the bridge. So I was sort of mixing together what I learned from Veloxius along with what I did in the failed attempts too. Okay, let's see. So we got our CC up, and I would like to go for a tunnel network, but I don't feel safe doing it with those quads and the toxin tank. So I ended up getting one of my quad cannons to attack the vehicles individually, and I'm being very careful here because I don't want the toxin tanks getting to me, so I had to retreat and then go back in after the toxin tank redirects their fire on my CC. Let's see. And yeah, I went for a very early Scud Storm. Because Veloxius confirmed that if we destroy the palace, it means that he won't rebuild it. I'm like, yeah, we gotta get the Scud Storms early so then we can knock that out, and then we can turn off the long range units even sooner. That was the thought process behind that one. And I was able to take down all of those units with just that singular quad, so that was great news. And I'm going to go for a tunnel network right next to the CC. It's not much in the way of defense, but it can actually go a long way, especially going up against those units that will just primarily target the CC. And going for the 2 quads on the Stinger, so then I can get the Jarman out, of course. Meanwhile, I've neglected my palace. I haven't filled it up with rocket troopers yet. I have forgotten. And I was thinking about going for the upgrades, thinking about the fortified structures as well as the toxin upgrade too, because maybe the toxin upgrade would be, you know, it would damage the buildings more and then lead to me destroying that palace that much sooner. So once I finally see the toxin rebels, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, he hasn't, we haven't filled up that palace yet. Not good. And I'm going to go straight for my second Scud, but I didn't feel safe with the Toxin Rebels. I was like, okay, wait for these guys to go, and then that way we can build up the second Scud. So I'm going very, very Scud Storm heavy. I'm like, I have to get rid of this guy by any means. I have no shame about using a Scud Storm spam on this guy. You wouldn't believe how many hours worth of attempts I spent on this guy. It was bad. And yeah, at this point I was like, okay, I guess I can't use my quads to help out with that attack, but luckily it's just toxin tanks for the most part, so not too bad.
You know, of course, that we are all immune to its toxins, don't you, General?
Generals! Our landing being attacked!
General, I don't think you have enough to stop my next attack. Excellent.
Attaching supports.
Shall I push the button?
So next part of the plan is to get some Scud launchers in the game. So I'm going for a couple of Scud launchers. They're going to go behind my CC and control fire the ground. That way I can pick off the vehicles more easily, and I don't have to fully rely on the tunnel network that I built next to it. Meanwhile, on the right side, I've actually gone very light this time on the defense, relying more so on the quad cannons that I put inside the tunnel earlier on in the battle. But that's not a very good strategy either, because, you know, as you just saw, one bomb truck, and I can't really pop out with that tunnel anymore. So I have to reinforce that defense or figure out a way to neutralize the arms dealer on the right side. And my Scud Storm, it's almost ready to go, so that'll be my second one. And as you can see, because my defense is so light, it also means my oil derrick is being you know, targeted by those toxin tanks. Luckily the damage isn't too bad, but it kind of forced me to pop out of a different tunnel because the other one was hitting the tunnel, so I would have lost those quad cannons pretty quickly. But in any case, this attack got squashed, but it's the first of many attacks. It's not over yet. We got plenty more to come for this battle. So now that this attack has been squashed, I noticed that I had a lot of cash to play with. So I decided to get my third Scud Storm on the go, and I did have $2,700 left to spend. So I could have saved up for another Scud Storm, but I decided to go for black market, so then I've got access to the upgrades later on. Now with rank 3, I didn't get the hijack plane general power. I decided to go for double bounty. Now because I already own a CC, it means I'm going to take advantage of that general power right away. Now with the hijack plane, I was mainly using that power for taking down the Baikonur launchers and the chem buggies as well, but with the Scud launchers that I got behind the CC, I felt like I could potentially use them to take down the Baikonurs when they show up. Meanwhile, on the right side, I got my worker who's going to rebuild the defense, which, not much, it's one tunnel network, but it's still something. I still need to be able to retain both oil derricks for as long as I can, so then I can keep making the cash to keep building up those units and Scud Storms if I want to go for more than 3 Scuds. Meanwhile, there's lots of damage happening on that oil derrick, so it's like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to hold it for very much longer. So I decided to get my Scud launcher that was parked at my base to start control firing. I was going to use that Scud launcher for assisting on the left side, but my 2 at the CC seem to be doing okay. Meanwhile, we do have Jarman Kell out, and I was planning on using Jarman Kell like in the failed attempts. I was going to position him over at the bridge and use him to snipe the vehicles that across that bridge. So because I didn't fully understand the way Dr. Thrax attacks, it meant that I actually underutilized my Jarman Kell in this battle. So with Jarman Kell, I would actually have him positioned at the bridge like in the failed attempts, ready to snipe those vehicles causing the traffic jam. But what I didn't think about was the fact that I've got the CC planted on the left side. So what that means is the majority of Thrax's attacks are going to occur on the left side and not across the bridge, so there's not going to be many vehicles that cross the bridge for Jarman Kell to snipe, so I don't really get to utilize him all that much, and I could have used him to protect my right side, or I could have used him for another purpose, or even just built a different unit or a different building. That cash could have been better utilized. Now, I did get a rank up, and this time I did go for level 1 hijack plane. So the level 1 hijack plane is going to be my option for taking down those long range units, which Dr. Thrax is starting to bring in now. So we do have some chem buggies, and I got one of my Scud launchers on the left to try and pick that off. Now thankfully it's the chem buggies and not the Baikonur launchers which would go for my Scud launcher over my CC, depending on, I think it's depending on which thing is more forward. The Baikonur will go for the more forward unit or building. So I was able to take down some of those chem buggies, but it's only a matter of time till the Baikonurs come into play as well. Now, I did also go for radar van from the arms dealer and the radar scan ability. And the reason why I did that is so I could see what goes on the map, of course, but also so I could utilize the sneak attack. Now, here comes the hijack plane, and here's my plan. I was going to go for the toxin bunker, so then I could let the toxins take care of those long-range units for me, and that will buy me some time as well. So my plan to take down the toxin bunker didn't work. I was only able to get it down to half health, so that means I'm going to have to sack off a Scud launcher or two in order to destroy that, to destroy the Baikonurs. The Baikonurs are just a little bit too far away, and if I try and go for them directly, then the Baikonurs will just take them out before I can get a shot off. I used my radar van scan to see if there was a Baikonur rocket on the go, which there wasn't, which was great. And I used my Scud Storm to target his palace, so then I can prevent Dr. Thrax from building any more Baikonurs or chem buggies because he doesn't rebuild the palace. And I went very centered on the aiming this time round. I need to destroy it, and we succeeded this time round, so no more Baikonurs, no more chem buggies can be built. And I got my Scud launchers. They took down the toxin bunker, which, like I said, it led to me destroying the Baikonur launcher. So that was great. That's going to buy me a little bit of time because the toxins will hover around for a little bit longer. Now, I've got some balloons on the go. So balloons are going to be another one of my ways of getting rid of Baikonur launchers and chem buggies because they don't do anti-air. And the thing is, like, even though Dr. Thrax can no longer build those units, he might still have one or two lying around, like on the right side of the map here. So they're targeting my oil derrick, and I was thinking about getting my balloons to target the Baikonur launchers. I was also considering using my Scud Storm as well, because I've got a Scud Storm that's ready right now. So I was like, okay, let's use it. And then I'm like, you know what? No. So I went for balloons, and I was going to move right in there, and that would have meant losing the balloons to the Stinger site, but I ended up changing my mind again. I ended up pulling back, and I thought, you know what, I've lost my oil derrick now, so I can pull back and fire on the Baikonurs without the Stinger site getting to me anyway. We've still got the level 2 bounty as well, so we can still make money, and we've also got a couple of black markets too. Now, one of my biggest regrets is not looking into the zero plane from the airfield, and that was actually a much better plane compared to balloons when it comes to taking down those long range units. That's what I saw in Veloxius's version of Death Strike versus Dr. Thrax. So I ended up getting the win before Veloxius released his video on it, and wow, he actually handled the battle a lot better than I did. I mean, case in point, I lost the Scud launcher to a demo trap, and yeah, I'm losing my position big time. And I don't know why they popped out of that tunnel with the Baikonur launchers. That one I wasn't sure about. I was like, I didn't exactly have any units nearby. I was like, what did I do? So yeah, I was definitely in a tough spot. A couple of balloons to defend. Quad cannon on the right, picking off my airfield. I panic launched my anthrax bomb. I should have got a bit more out there with that. So now I'm sort of going to lose a worker to my own anthrax bomb, and I can't build a worker to repair that, so I have to just live with what I got going on over here. 4 Scud Storms though, so I'm still in a kind of a decent position. I just got to be able to hold on, and I ended up using my general points for level 2 hijack plane and the sneak attack. I don't think the hijack planes are worth it after watching Veloxius's vid. If I just used those zero planes, I would have definitely traded that hijack plane ability for something else for sure. Like even like GPS Scrambler or the scrap plane ability would have been helpful. I could have double scrapped my Scud launchers without putting him in harm's way. So things like that would have been more helpful. So I ended up using the sneak attack here as a distraction play for the quad cannon, so I'm able to take those guys down with my balloons. So I was able to fend off that attack. Scud Storm on the right side arms dealer. I was hoping that by doing that they would stop attacking me on the right side, and then I can just focus on defending myself from the attacks coming from the left side and later on from the bridge, because I'm losing my position on the left side. So by default that will mean that those units will start coming from the bridge. And I was just short. I was going to go for my level 2 hijack plane, but I missed it by that much. So that's a shame. So that was kind of a waste of a general point as well. I should have gotten something different. So it's time for the moment of truth. So we squashed all the attacks on the right side, but we lost our left side position to all those vehicles. So that means that all those vehicles are going to come down south to target my Scud Storm and my new command center scaffold as well that's on the go. So I did get hit by the hijack plane. Thankfully it wasn't too bad. They went for my Scud Storm and one of my black markets. So with my balloons, I was having trouble trying to select them all. I was trying to double click to select all the balloons. Eventually we got there, and I'm like, okay, well, we got to target all of these quad cannons so then I can target all of the other vehicles without any anti-air, you know, picking them off. So that's my that was my plan for that one, and we're sort of getting there. Thankfully the quad cannons, they were primarily targeting the Scud Storm, and on the other side they were targeting the Palace. So I ended up going over to the other quad cannons. I was sort of playing it safe. I wanted to make sure that there was absolutely no anti-air, because the attack on the Scud Storm, it was just toxin tanks by that point. So I felt I could, you know, just let my worker repair that and keep it under control. Scud Storm on the arms dealer, I got my CC back. So I ended up using my hijack plane general power as well. I probably could have used my Scud Storm on both the barracks and the arms dealer. I might have been able to take down both buildings that way, but I ended up using my hijack plane on the barracks instead. So then I could really make sure that I'm, you know, cutting down on Thrax's attack power. And oddly enough, a couple of Baikonur launchers, they're just driving by. That's sort of like what you would see in regular Dr. Thrax battles. He would just drive a Scud launcher right into your base and try and go for, you know, the CC that's at the starting position. That's what that reminded me of. But in any case, we're in a much better position than what we were in previous attempts. And even that Anthrax bomb's not going to stop me. I do have toxin tractors, and I once again forgot to clear my Anthrax from the Anthrax bomb. So that's still kind of a bad habit of mine. I refuse to clear my own toxins. So yeah, we're just going to live with the toxins for a little bit. And the toxin tractors were for the garrison primarily. And I was like, okay, I think we can just put them in the tunnel later on, and maybe we can use them later. But quite literally, that garrison was the only purpose for them.
Shoot at them, I'll take care of the balloon. Remember, I never promise a safe journey. So, what do you think so far? Hey, hold on to your seat, I'm trying to keep it flying.
We can now use our Scud Storm.
I am finished.
So I have Scud Storm that's ready to go, right? Now, because I don't have a radar van scan, I don't know if there's any buildings that he's rebuilt. So I decided to use my Scud Storm on the one building that I know is still intact, and that's going to be the command center. I also decided to combo that off with the sneak attack. So I ended up doing my sneak attack to the left of the Scud Storm. Now in this version, Dr. Thrax actually has demo traps on the top part of the map here, so I ended up popping out with a worker, thinking I'd sack off the worker, but the Scud Storm itself should have just taken down the demo traps for me anyway, so that was kind of a silly move. And I used my 2 quads to take down these vehicles. Now I didn't see it because of the tree and the cliff, but there was another demo trap, and I lost my 2 quads, my 2 good quads as well. So that's a real shame. So that attack got squashed, and so I got 1 quad and 2 toxin tractors to go inside the tunnel, ready to pop out again. Another Scud Storm going for the CC. Don't have to aim it at the center. because the command center has taken quite a beating, so I can take that down plus some vehicles and some stinger sites. Now, because he's got all those vehicles, that tells me that he's rebuilt at least one of his arms dealers. So that also means that he's probably got his supply stash as well. So I ended up using my anthrax bomb at the arms dealer and the barracks, thinking I could basically stall for time and get some vehicles to take down the supply stash whilst the toxins are helping me out. That was my game plan there. But I just didn't have a big enough army of vehicles to pop out with. But I do have an army of balloons. And I was considering going in with the balloons, but I changed my mind because he's got a battle bus which would surely still be full of rocket troops. Plus the stinger site itself would be a toxin stinger site, so it's going to be more powerful than a normal one. And I can't exactly pop out of my tunnel network because of all of those toxin tanks. So yeah, I didn't really know what to do. We get into some very silly moments here. We've got the Scud Storms at the very least, so I know that we're in a very good standing at actually winning this one. But with the toxin tractors, I thought, okay, let's take down the workers then. Maybe I could take them down and then use my next Scud Storm to take down the supply stash. And I did see that CC scaffold go up. Thankfully it went down and it didn't go back up again, so I got lucky there, I think. And now it's just a waiting game for Scud Storms to come by. I was still very hesitant about the balloons as well, so they're still sort of in limbo at the bridge.
I will work. I'm just a peasant.
You
I
will
will
come
work.
for the
What do you
toxin,
want with
but
me?
you'll stay
It
because
already
you're
needs
dead.
repairs. I will obey.
Where shall we strike?
So at this point, I use my hijack plane ability roughly where the CC is. So I thought Dr. Thrax was going to put up another scaffold whilst I wasn't looking. I think if I just built a couple more radar vans whilst it was quiet, I could have used the radar scan and actually see what's going on, and then I could utilize my general powers and my Scud Storms a bit more efficiently. Like I said, we do get into some silliness here. So I popped out with 5 quad cannons. I think what I should have done here is use my Scud Storm on these 4 stinger sites, then popped out with the quad cannons to then move in on the remaining buildings that Dr. Thrax has. But instead, the quads are being used to take down the stingers, and I used my Scud Storm on the supply stash and the arms dealer. But he still has one worker that's hovering near a stinger site, so yeah, I don't think this was the correct play, but it's not really going to matter all that much now. We've pretty much got the match locked down. It's just a matter of time till I, finally knock out all of the workers and then knock out all of the remaining buildings too. Now, I did get hit by the quad cannons, so they hit me whilst I wasn't looking. So I lost my balloon army. They didn't really get used all that much, unfortunately. I think I might have been able to use the balloons to basically move around the stinger site and maybe go over the cliff and potentially get into Thrax's base if I Scud Storm the stinger sites. I think that might have also been a good play too. But yeah, just hadn't really thought about it. Just lots of goofiness at the end here, because I was like, oh my god, I think I'm gonna win. I think I'm gonna win. I was like very frantic. Because I just didn't know what to do with myself. I was like, oh, I finally got it after all these hours of actually attempting it. So now I finally build the radar vans, and the goofiness continues. I ended up shooting a toxin rebel close distance, and I got shot by the RD platform and shot by the toxin rebel. Me somehow thinking, he would just go snipe automatically, but yeah, Jarman didn't, and he's gone too. But hey, I mean, we got 2 Scud Storms on the way, and it's almost over now.
Wherever you want, General. So, what do you think so far? Hey, hold on to your seat. I'm trying to keep it flying.
So my balloons are doing a good job at holding down the fort. I mean, there's 3 of them, so 6 rocket troops, so they'll be able to do a good job. But right now, I'm just killing a little bit of time. I'm waiting on my second Scud Storm to be ready here. I thought if I do a double Scud against Dr. Thrax, I could neutralize all of his workers and then go for his remaining buildings to finish him off. What I didn't really twig on was the fact that he doesn't actually have a lot of buildings left. So when I did hit him with the double Scud, it was actually the game ender, and I hadn't realized it. So I used my radar van scan, reveal the stash and the arms dealer, use 1 Scud Storm on that, and I use another scan to reveal just the barracks. He didn't rebuild the other arms dealer, fire directly on that. And those are going to be the last of Dr. Thrax's buildings, and that is how we finished off Dr. Thrax in ZH Continue with Deathstrike. Thank you to Veloxius for the hint. I probably wouldn't have gotten it done if it wasn't for the CC on the left hint. And thank you to our members, Renever Straighten, Just Eddie 69, and Jara 2611. If you enjoyed this one, leave a like, comment, subscribe. I do have a playlist if you want to check out any other content. I'm Croclo. I'll see you in the next one.